I'm going to complete my Mighty Morphin Power Rangers collectible figures collection from 1993. These are the smaller little figures, no articulation, kind of a cheaper toy option in the toy aisle. Maybe along the lines of getting a pack of trading cards, or even some spin fighters just for a cheap option to get a toy when you visit the old toy store. I'm going to complete the Series 1 of these here. Show you the ones I've got already, and we'll open up my new ones that complete the set. So first up, Green Ranger here. And again, these just have like a little stand, but they don't articulate or move or anything. I think maybe the benefit was they were kind of a smaller size, so you could kind of play around with them with your Zord, or when the monster would grow if you had a bigger version of the toy. So these do have a little bit of use and wear on them, because I did probably play around with them a little bit. Pretty decent colorings in, you know, I mean, for the cheaper little figure. The weapons are just silver, but their costume, I mean, Green Ranger even has a couple gold details and things like that here. Small on the little morpher and a little bit on the helmet, not too bad. Red Ranger here, you can see a little more wear on this one. I actually had this broken off and I had to glue it back on the sword. I think I did fairly well. You can't tell too much there, but there is some wear and you can see a little bit of the glue sticking out. You can see their holstered weapons and things. I mean, they didn't paint the white on the back, but for the small size they do look pretty good. Simple little collectible. We have the Black Ranger, the Power Axe here. Kind of interesting. If we get one of the unopened ones here, is kind of a different pose. Just a little bit here. The arm is down. This one, his other arm is up. These went through a little changes here from these little prototype images that are on the back of the packaging. Just kind of a fun extra to have with your Power Rangers collection this way. Still has good details molded on the helmet. Just a couple little color spots there to make it look like the real deal. Blue Ranger here really changed from that prototype imagery on the back of the packaging. You can see it's his completed staff, kind of holding it up here. He's got the two pieces. I think it was easier for them maybe to have this arm folded into the body and kind of cheat a little bit on some of the coloring there. It's not so difficult. But he definitely changed his look a little bit there. He got the two halves of the power lance. It was a pretty unique pose. I think he's kind of facing the wrong direction from the other Rangers though, so it's hard to pose him with the rest. But again, he's got multiple silver details on the helmet and the eyes at the top. And I did have Goldar. Got a weird little, another arm folded. I don't know if that just makes these easier for them to make than having all the limbs spread out. I did play around with these a lot. I got some sort of strange putty or something marking the back of the wing, which does have a lot of stuff painted in. He's got his weird tail and stuff. But this will mostly be aimed forward in the collection anyway. You can see some of the intricate detail with the mouth isn't super solid, but again, this is just going to be small on your shelf, like so. Now we can kind of look at the packaging. Old school Power Rangers packaging, the old logo and the weird cartoon drawing of the Rangers that was on everything. We got Squat here. I think I just didn't end up with some of these because just kind of no point in getting the small version of them. I just kind of always went, nah, I'd rather get a spin fighter or the trading cards or something like that. Which do you have? Well, I'm going to have them all here. So here's a brand new Squat we can rip open. Because that's what I do here. Open the stuff up so I can show you. We got Squat. He's missing a little bit on that back, but he has a lot of things going on here. But he doesn't have the info on the bottom of the stand like the Rangers did. And of course the face, since it has such small details, you kind of missing a little bit here. But again, when it's tiny on your little shelf, it's going to look pretty good there. He's even got his little gun, the appropriate armor. It's a thick one there. I think the problem with these sidekick action figures is they didn't really fight the Power Rangers very much, so who really wanted the toy of them? But they did show up a lot on the show. We got Babu to go with them, the pair. This card's a little beat up there anyway, so we might as well rip it open. Well, that was easy. I think the glue was worn out a little bit. Babu has his little things attached to his base. Little extra weird arms. They went all out with the texture of his body there. He's got his bat thingy on his wrist. Now I feel like the toy marketing tried to make these dudes look more intimidating than they really were on the show. But Squat and Babu right there. You gotta have the team. They didn't do it a lot of different colors. They just did two different shades of blue, but I think it works for him. A little simplified and cartoony, but I think that's what the set is anyway. Who else we got? We got Finster here. I think they really dropped the ball. They should have had a Rita, at least in these smaller ones, because there was not really any Rita Repulsa figures. They just always made a couple of her minions. Here again, his back doesn't have a ton going on there. Seems to say 92 on the back, like they were getting these toys ready for the show. But he has his tools kind of colored with silver there. I mean, the monster dudes did get quite a bit here. Obviously, this is a more intimidating appearance for Finster than what he really was on the show. Tried to make him look angrier with the toys, like, oh. Finster didn't fight anybody, he just crafted the monsters that were destroyed each episode. But he's a nice one to have with the group. Speaking of the disposable monsters, we got King Sphinx here. Which I did notice the packagings don't really say who they are. You just have to kind of know the figure or know the character. Here, King Sphinx, we can see from on the back, he was supposed to have a few more paint apps on the chest there with the eye and such. But must have had to save a couple bucks there and then finish him up quite. Pretty plain on the back with the wings. But they got the headdress all done in. But again, only one episode monster. I mean, they might have stretched this one into a 2-episoder on the original Zyuranger show that they took the footage from. He was an early one in the TV show, so they made a lot of merch of him. King Sphinx. Oh, look at this. Alpha 5. They got a figure, even if it's these smaller ones here. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, he's got a cool color scheme here. He's got blue, gold, red, got some primary, yellow, he's got black legs with gold and silver. Got his lightning bolt on him. Would have been a good one to have, just, you know, a small Alpha 5 just to have him in your collection instead of having to get a bigger figure. Not a character that was in the original Japanese show footage. It was definitely all made for the Power Rangers show. They did pretty good with his costume, making it pretty special there. It had electronics and things on it. The figure is pretty cool. Cool one to have. Sure, it ended up in the clearance aisle a lot, since he didn't do any fighting on the show, so why would you really need a toy of him? But cool one to have now, looking back. Oh, I can finish the Rangers here. We got Yellow Ranger. Never ended up with the ladies for the minifigures, but I did have to have them with the flipping head figures and the bigger 8-inch figures, but didn't go for them with these smaller ones here. I mean, here, this body you can tell is definitely from the Japan footage, that it's definitely a dude in the Japan show, but in the Power Ranger show it's supposed to be Trini, of course. So it's kind of cool this set can function as maybe some toys of the original Japan show, which I like watching those just to see the footage and things and kind of get a double purpose out of my collections. 2 shows and 1 toy line in display. I think they went a little weird with the helmet painting on this one with the big silver nose. I like the daggers and stuff. Pretty cool, and both freestanding arms. They didn't do the fold over thing. Here they have the info on the bottom of the Rangers stands. And the Pink Ranger, the last one. Hey, hey, hey. She just completed the lineup. Just posed down onto the knee with the bow. Looks like she just let an arrow fly there. There's a more feminine mold than the Yellow Ranger figure. Definitely a more dynamic pose than some of the other ones. That'll help her stand out if you kind of group them together, or I kind of have them posed, you know, with all the Pink Rangers together, all the Red Rangers together, things like that. So with these 2, I complete the Rangers, and with all of them, I complete the full set, Series 1 of these minifigures. Good all together here, all the Rangers. I always love completing my old collections like this. That's what I like to do here, show my old collections and everything like that. Even other collectibles like the cards, show off my card collections of Power Rangers and things like that here. And even wacky things like the Spin Fighters, which is really interesting. There's a lot more to them than you would think. So for Power Rangers or all my other collectibles, you want to stick around. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video.